Good morning, everyone. My name is Candace, and I'm the Riverbend Oracle. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. We have a really fun topic today. Today, we're going to be talking about dreams. I get these questions a lot in session. A lot of people are curious about what their dreams mean, or maybe they had a dream that they could have had it 20 years ago, but it stuck with them. They want to know what they're supposed to get out of it. They can't. They remember it like it was yesterday. So obviously, it's important, right? Right. It is. Yes, sometimes our dreams are like an amalgamation of the spicy food we had for dinner and what we watched before we went to bed. But that's not always the case. That's oftentimes our dreams are meant to reach us in ways that we would not get in our day-to-day life, okay? And with symbolism that is given to us by our higher self. Our higher self knows what we need to know. They know when we need to know it. Our higher self knows what symbolism to give to you so that you can come to these conclusions on your own, right? We're never on our own. Our higher self's always got our back as long as we're paying attention and letting them in. We got to ask for that help, and we got to recognize it when it comes. We got to trust our intuition, right? Okay, you guys know that. So I guess something happened. I had a really strange dream last night, and I was explaining it to my boyfriend over breakfast this morning. And, sometimes when I tell him my dreams, he's just like, oh, I don't know. That's wild. That's wild. I do have some crazy dreams, but this one was, it was interesting in particular. So in my dream, I dreamt that, I dreamt that I was like at this academy where we were all like being turned into werewolves and stuff, but I was having memory problems. And it was weird because I was like, there were friends of mine that I was in choir with in high school that I haven't seen since graduation. You know what I mean? That were in these dreams. And I haven't figured out that part of it yet, but I'm working on it. So we were in like this werewolf academy or something. And I was having memory problems. And this is something that I've noticed sometimes in my daily life. And it bothers me. I'm a pretty sharp, and like I'm pretty with it. I'm pretty together. But I notice sometimes that I'm having memory issues. And so in this dream, I'm telling this guy that I was in choir with in high school, I was like, I'm having memory issues. I'm having memory issues. And I was like, I think it's my timelines converging. I think it's my all of my timelines like coming together in one, and it's causing me. And so when I'm explaining this to my boyfriend and he's looking at me and I'm like, well, like timelines. I was like, time isn't real. I was like, everything exists at one time, but you might have like multi-dimensional things, or I was like, you have several different versions of you, infinite versions of you existing at the same time. But instead of it being linear, it's like this. It's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And my boyfriend's just looking at me like, okay. He's into sci-fi. He's heard this before, but it's probably a little bit weirder whenever your girlfriend's talking to you over breakfast, and she's dead serious. She's like, yeah, no, but this is what it is. So I was explaining it to him. Yeah, werewolves. It was funny. And then I opened my Facebook, and the first meme that I see was a meme that was posted by Dolores Cannon, who is that was the teacher that we had. That's the classes that I took, who invented QHHT, which is the hypnosis that I perform. And it was a funny little meme. It had like a dragon in it, and then there was like a wizard, and the things that it was saying, and it said exactly. It said, your timelines are converging or something like that, and it's exactly what I dreamed about last night. And I was like, yeah. So that to me that's a confirmation. I mean, that's what's happening. And I think that it's funny that that's the way my higher self chose to present this idea, because it has kind of been bothering me. I'm like, I don't want to, hopefully I'm not getting like dementia or something. I'm only 45. It's not time for that. And that's just my higher self's way of saying like, hey, you know what's going on. Use your intuition. Look inside. You have all the answers that you need. And I do. And I'm right. And that is what resonates with me as the truth. So yeah, I thought that was a funny little story. I told it to my boyfriend this morning and he was just like, okay. But yes, your higher self knows you, knows how to get through to you, knows what you need, and wants only the best for you. Wants you to live your life to your highest good. Doesn't want you to worry about things, doesn't want you to stress about things. Like, that's the last thing we need, is more shit to worry about, more shit to stress about, right? Right. So with that funny little story, let me take you into something that's a little bit more profound and a little bit more like a message that I really, really needed. So for those of you that don't know me, when I was 14, my father was killed in a car accident. My dad was my best friend, and those of you that did have the pleasure of knowing him know what a great guy he was, how much love and kindness that he had in his heart. And I thank my lucky stars every day that I had that type of role model that taught me kindness and taught me to be understanding and accepting of people, and and just really kind of humbled me in a way that I needed to be humbled, especially the early adolescent girls and stuff like that. But I lost my dad when I was 14, and it was really tough, man. It was really tough. I did not know what to do. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to think. I was told by my uncles, we have to go tell your grandmother. My grandma and my grandpa were out of town. So when we left the hospital, my uncles drove me to Centerville, Texas. And the whole time it was like, you got to be strong for your grandma. You got to be strong for your grandma, and that was not maybe the best thing to tell a 14-year-old that just lost her father, to stuff her emotions down. It took me many, many years to finally grieve my father. And it was tough, it was tough. And at that time, we went and we told my grandma, and I was strong for her, and I carried that grief around inside of me and not letting it out, not processing it for a long, long time. It was really not healthy. But there were several months later, I was living with my aunt and uncle and my two cousins. They were trying to get custody of me. I didn't want to live with my mom, for personal reasons. But I was at my aunt and uncle's house, and I woke up from this dream and I'm telling you, this was 30 years ago. Okay, I'm 45 now. I was 14 when I might have been 15 by that time when I had this dream. But I dreamt that my dad was still alive. We were at my grandparents' house. And outside of my grandparents' house, my grandpa had like a lot of garages and shops, and there was tractors and backhoes and anything, like that show where they go around to Texas, or they go around to all the like little farmhouses and go picking through all their stuff. It was like that. They would have loved my grandpa's place. But we were outside and we were in the shop and we were working on something, and my friend Cindy showed up with her newborn baby. He's now a grown man, but in the dream she showed up with the baby. And in my dream, I had the knowledge, I had a premonition that something terrible was going to happen to my dad. And all I knew that there was something bad was going to happen. I was going to lose my dad, and it had to do with the color yellow. That's all that I knew. And so I had this going on within me, these thoughts, and I'm on the lookout for like when is the shoe going to drop, kind of. And at the same time, I'm also there with my friend Cindy, who's overjoyed with the birth of her, baby son. And I'm looking at the baby, and then my dad comes out of the house and he says, my friend's coming to pick me up. Hey, that's enough. I'm recording a video. That would be Pearl. One moment, please. Pearl, Mommy's recording. All right, y'all go see Dad. Go see Dad. They don't care what I'm doing. I love that. So as I was saying, my dad comes out of the house and he says, I'm going to go somewhere. My friend's coming to pick me up. We're going to go do this. And I got a feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, Dad, I don't really want you to go anywhere. And he was like, what? He was like, I gotta, go do this. And then his friend pulls up in a yellow VW Bug. And that's when I knew this is when it happens. And I'm like, I throw a fit and I'm like, Dad, no, no, no. And I'm crying. And I just remember how hot the tears felt on my face. I'm crying, Dad, please don't go. Please don't go. You've got to trust me. You've got to trust me. Please don't leave. And he was like, whoa, okay. Okay, let me go tell my friend that I can't go. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And my dad walks off to go tell his friend to go on without him. And at that same time, my friend Cindy's infant son turned bright red, like almost purple, and started screaming. And he was like, ah! And everybody was like, what's wrong with the baby? What's wrong with the baby? And I knew within my heart that if I didn't allow nature to take its course and let my dad go, knowing that I would suffer in the end, then nature was going to take Cindy's baby and then she would suffer. And I knew that I couldn't do that. I knew that what happened for a reason, or what was going to happen for a reason. And I could not put aside my suffering and allow someone else and a tiny baby that never had a chance to even live. And as a 14, 15-year-old girl, upon waking from that dream, it was very profound. It was very much what I needed. I needed that aspect of it. I needed, in such a time of tragedy and sorrow, I needed another way to reframe that entire situation. I needed a different perspective, and I needed to know that what is will be, and that I will make it through. And that experience, losing my dad at such an early age, it was a huge part of my identity, a huge part of molding me into the woman that I've become and the healer that I've become. And, it was a great source of wisdom and life experience for me. And as much as it hurt and as much as, I still miss him every day. But I know that had to happen for me to be where I am and to be able to give these messages and maybe help enlighten someone, or just be comforting, whatever it is, however I can be of service. That's what I'm here for. And I realized today, whenever I had this dream and then I see that thing on the Facebook or whatever, that, our dreams are not just BS. We have them for a reason. And whenever something sticks with you, you need to pay attention to it. There's something in that for you. Maybe you don't get it now, but write it down. Dream journals are a thing, okay? Because even if you may not understand it at this point, what if 6 months from now something happens? You're like, that dream I had. All you got to do is flip back through your dream journal and read it and freshen up on it and maybe gain some perspective that you didn't have the experience to have at the time that you had the dream. But with the experience of the last 6 months and this thing happening over here, now it makes sense, or this, they're not just there for our amusement, although sometimes they can be very amusing. They're there to help us, to guide us, to help us sometimes awaken. Right now we're getting a lot of downloads in these dreams. We're getting creative ideas for songwriters, musicians, artists, writers. You're getting ideas in these dreams. Okay, pay attention. Inventors. You never notice while people are working on the same invention. It's not an accident that people that don't know each other in different parts of the world are working on the same thing. These are ideas being sprinkled down, and you're not the only one that's getting it. But if you're paying attention to it, it can be beneficial to you. Okay? I can't stress that enough, to pay attention and being open to the ideas, being open and being aware that that's what's happening. You just never know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? And it can be something that changes your life. You never know. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to share a little personal story about dreams, and just wanted to make sure that I'm letting everyone know to be aware, watch for synchronicities, Be open to the ideas. Be open to the spiritual awakening. Be open to the activations. You know, there's stuff in our DNA that's opening up with these activations. Stuff that we need, stuff that's for everything that's coming. Gosh, our world is so tumultuous right now. Like, we need all the awareness that we can get, and our higher self is over here just trying to, just like, it's like throwing darts at you, you know, but like they bounce until you open up and you're aware. You're open to these ideas, you're open to these awakenings, you're opening to these activations, and you are signaling to yourself that you're ready and you're capable and you want it. And the universe gives you, the universe wants you to live your best life, to be in your highest good, you know, have all the abundance that you want and need. So pay attention to those dreams, pay attention to that intuition, and be well, folks. Bye.